Hello and welcome to this live stream. I'm driving a Porsche Carrera 911S in Forza Horizon 4. Haven't played Forza in quite a while. I've got my Logitech G25 racing wheel set up. I've just newly screwed the foot pedals into the floor, so they're somewhat stationary, and I've got the office chair, which is on caster wheels, restrained from moving backwards by I don't know, I've jammed it up so that it can't go back. So I'm pretty much ensconced in my racing cockpit right here, and let's see how it goes. Sorry about that delay, guys. I was just pulling up the chat on my phone. I can sort of see it. The Logitech is not completely compatible with the game. Sometimes you'll get a game message telling you press button 7. The Logitech doesn't. It's got a truckload of buttons on it, but none of them have numbers on them. I've tried writing in permanent marker button 2, button 4, etc. next to all the buttons, but the button sequence seems to change. So it's completely useless in that sense. But apart from that, let's see what we can do. So guys, sorry I haven't been talking too much. The push to talk button stops the steering wheel. Maybe I should keep always on. I'll do that. Alright, now it's always on. Well, this is pretty cool. Don't think I've ever done this before. This guy's got a pretty fast car, and he can drive okay as well. And he's drifting. He's drifting in a Mazda. I think it's some kind of a souped-up rotary Mazda, like an RX-7, like a late model RX-7. I'll see if I can keep up with him. He's got a faster car than me purely because it's souped up. Performance modified. Waiting for him to catch up. No music in this stream, unfortunately, because any music that you put into a stream these days causes problems and everything, so no music. How many gears I got? It's probably 7. Yeah, 7. There's 8. 8 gears, wow. Bear in mind I'm driving a stock standard Porsche 911 Carrera S, whereas you can modify them heaps in the game, and that, at least in the game, that gives them better performance. What season am I driving in on? I think this must be autumn. I prefer to drive in spring or summer. And during the day, I hate the way it switches to night. I hate driving at night. You've got no control over it. You should be able to switch night off, and you should be able to select which season. This game is definitely not perfect. Like, the worst thing that I dislike about this game is that the startup sequence seems to take about 4 or 5 minutes. And it's not that you can just start it once and leave it running until it starts. You've got to start it and then progressively monitor it and go back and press enter or press continue while you're waiting for the start sequence to work. So you've got to participate in the start sequence, more or less against your will. You've got to, at least twice, it probably seems more like 4 times, press at least continue or enter during the start sequence, which, as I mentioned, seems to go for 4 or 5 minutes. So you can't just go away and make a cup of coffee and come back and, the game's started. You have to listen to this engine sound of like a Formula 1 style engine, really loud, revving along, and then you have to listen to an intro song, and you have to wait for the right moment to press enter. And the devs of this game haven't figured out that I'm about to drop an F-bomb, that's freaking annoying. So annoying. Like, haven't they clued in that no one wants to do that? And so if you initiate the start sequence for this game and you go away for, say, 12 hours and you come back as the game started, no, it hasn't. It's still stuck in the first quarter of the start sequence, and it's waiting for you to press continue. Isn't that, yeah, that really annoys me. For for such an awesome game. I don't know how they've like made that oversight. It's so inconvenient. To be honest with you, it's one of the things that stops me from playing this game. The other one being I don't want to play with an Xbox controller, and then setting up my G25 wheel is a bit of a rigmarole. You got to dust it down, you got to set it up, bolt it to the desk, screw the pedals into the floor, literally. You got to bolt the like you got to clamp the, you got to vice clamp the steering column and I don't know how to answer this guy. Drift, yes. I have no idea how to affirmative. He must think I'm really rude. I'd answer him, but I don't know how. Oh well. So yeah, you've got to bolt, like clamp the stick shift and the steering column to the desk. I've literally put something behind the office chair to keep it in place while I'm applying pressure to the foot pedals, so I don't beat Newton's third law. Every action is an equal and opposite reaction. I don't go flying. I don't go pushing myself back as I apply pressure to the brake or to the accelerator or to the clutch if I've got that in the settings activated. But yeah, the startup sequence for this game in either Forza Horizon 3 or Forza Horizon 4, it's the same deal. You've got to actively participate in the startup sequence, and it's bloody crazy. Like, the guys who made this game are not dumb, but for some reason their startup sequence is really dumb. And they actually pay consultants and testers good money to give them advice like what I've just given them, and I've given it to them for free, and I don't think they're going to listen to me. But man, I just wish they'd fix it. It'd literally make me play this game probably 10 times more. And that, so it's basically, it's obnoxious. You've got to listen to the engine sound. Like you can't click through it. You've got to listen to the theme song. It's a good theme song, but you've got to listen to it. They force you to listen to the theme song, and you can't click through it. Man, I wish I knew how to answer. Maybe I'll press enter. Chat V. 4. Okay. Shit, almost into the drink. Where the heck is he? V. There we go, finally I figured it out. And now he's, I don't know where he is. He's mutinied. Now it's getting dark. The other thing is there should be some way to organise races in this, like you just drive around aimlessly. You can have kind of informal races like what I'm trying to figure out here, but every time I try and do a race, like all this is an online environment, every time I try and do a race, you wait for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes for other players to join the race, and then no players join the race, so it's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't seem to work. It should be a simple thing that if you want to participate in a race, there should be maybe 10 races that are defined races in defined areas of the map, and maybe they're going off every periodically, every 5 minutes maybe one starts, and so you can go to a race start line and just wait for the start time and off you go, something like that. I don't know. I've never once been able to participate in one of system matched up races that are allegedly on offer. And I think that's a shame, because it'd be good to race against other players in a more predictable structure. Oh man, I was in the zone just then. Just for a fleeting moment. So don't get me wrong, this is a good game. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the obnoxious startup sequence. I have a feeling that the reason why they intended to do it is because the time required to load up in the RAM stands for random access memory, the time that it takes for all of the data to load up in the RAM is probably significant, and so they wanted to kind of keep you distracted while the RAM is loading. So they give you a long, protracted intro telling you about, I don't know, Take 10 Studios or whatever the company is that they're showing you with the Formula 1 car screeching its engine. So there's that, and then they've got the theme song. I'd rather, and through all of that, as I said, you've got to click enter and continue and stuff. I'd rather that they just said, look, the load up time is going to be 4 minutes. Here's the countdown timer. You're free to come back in 4 minutes time and the game will be ready for you to play. That would be so much better. And furthermore, supposing you go away for half an hour after double clicking the game to get it started, you come back and then can you just press enter or continue once and then it's all loaded up ready to go? No, you've still got to wait for that same amount of time for it to load up, and you've still got to click through, well, multiple times. I can't be the only one that's noticed this. It's so annoying. You can definitely drive at night. It's possible. My preference is to drive in the spring or the summer. Spring's probably the best, I think. Very picturesque. And of course during the day. But that's the thing, you get no control over the seasons or the time. So you get what you're given, sort of thing. Which is, I got to be honest with you, it's inconvenient, because if you want to test out the top speed of your car, you're going to need optimal conditions, which means not driving in winter. And if you load up the game with the aforementioned 4 or 5 minutes of participatory introduction, if you get through all of that, and then you want to test out the latest modifications to your Porsche and see if it goes any faster or something in the same conditions like summertime or spring or what have you, and the game gives you nighttime winter, you're screwed. You've got to wait for it to become daytime, but even so you're still driving in the snow. So again, you've got no control over that. So there's a lot of annoying stuff like that in this game. It's a great game visually, it's pretty good to drive, lots of cars, but those things, man, they're so annoying. Games should not be unnecessarily annoying. Okay, so here we go. The sun is just starting to come up. So this is a city, I think it's it's Edinburgh. Never been to Edinburgh, but it looks like they've done a pretty good job of illustrating the city. Where do I want to go? I think I want to go down here. Forza, this is Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 3 is set in Australia. And they did a pretty good job, in my opinion, of illustrating the various aspects of Australia in FH3. While I'm critiquing this game, there's a really maybe I'm just an old Luddite in my late 30s, but there's a really confusing user interface in this game, in my opinion. Like, you've got a series of menu screens, and you've got a kind of a cultural lingo in the game which has been kind of artificially created for the game, which has no bearing in real life. Like the notion of going to the festival. If I gave you $1 million and you'd never played this game before, and well, if I said you've got $1 million on offer if you can explain to me what it means to go to the festival, you'd never get the money, because it's like, it's not intuitive at all. Like, everything has been given a name that is not self-explanatory and that is not intuitive. It's a bit like if you decided for some strange reason to call a kitchen utensil like a spoon, an oak tree, just for the heck of it, it'd get pretty discombobulating. So I think like all of the naming convention terminology in the game is a bit hard to follow. And the menu screen, obviously I don't play the game very much compared to what I otherwise would. Like I just showed that I couldn't figure out how to communicate with the other player. All you got to do is press V and then press down on the Logitech G25 crosspad to say okay. But simple enough, I guess. But yeah, the menu screens in this game are crazy. They're totally crazy. Let me try and illustrate this for you. Let's have a look. Alright, home, Horizon Life. What the frick is Horizon Life? Again, if you didn't know this game, and I said to you, I'll give you $1 million if you can explain to me what Horizon Life is, you'd never get it. Fortune Island. That's kind of a thing. Lego Speed Champions. The other thing is that now that Lego is part of the game, every time I play this game by default, and I have no choice over it, they start me off on the Lego Island, or the Lego map. And to get out of the Lego map is incredibly difficult. It takes you like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to figure out how to get out of the Lego map. Online adventure, yeah, that's kind of explanatory. Creative hub, cars, rivals, clubs is grayed out for some reason. Marketplace, radio, leave convoy, all of this stuff here. Change car, quick chat, drone mode settings. And then down here, another menu down here. Enter, escape, reset car position, horizon convoy. So then you can try and flick across here. And as you do it, you get different kind of coloured squares pop up or whatever. Forza Hub, level 3, monthly rivals, race discipline rivals, level 10, street race rivals, my rivals, showcase rivals, marketplace expansion bundle. What the freak is a bundle? Forza Horizon 4 expansion bundle. I still don't get any of this stuff. Expansion packs, car packs, level 1, treasure map, VIP car pass, rivals, showcase rivals. What the heck? Go to the festival. Car mastery, level 1, level 3, car collection, auction alerts, tune the car. I think tune the car is probably a pretty important thing. Like, amongst all of this stuff here, I think probably there's maybe one thing in here that's really important, maybe two, the auction and the tune. I don't know, and there's my cars, so yeah. I think this menu is ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous. So there's travel to Lego Valley, fast travel. So again, when they start me off in this, I'm in Lego Valley. Why is it a valley? Alien plants smashed. What the heck is alien plants? Does that have any connection to anything, or they just included aliens? Fortune Island. Is it just me, or is there a lot of problems with this game? You got your poker machine stuff here. Every single song in the game that you can play, you can't play it because it's copyrighted on YouTube. So when you're doing a live stream on YouTube, you can't play all the songs. There's a truckload of songs there, you can't play any of them. So there's that. Not one single YouTuber plays the songs in Forza because they're all copyrighted. Anyways, let's go for a bit more of a drive and then I'll call it a day. At least it's daytime now. So like one of the major things with this game, Broadway Crossfire Street Scene. Do you know what Broadway Crossfire Street Scene means? Do you have any idea what Broadway Crossfire Street Scene means? To me that is a meaningless sentence. So like one of the major problems with this game is to do anything you've got to travel to the festival. Like if you want to change your car, a lot of the time it seems like you got to travel to the festival, or you've got to drive to the festival, or you've got to pay XP to transport to the festival. So you can't just click to the menu and change your car. You've got to travel to the festival and all this kind of thing. Akum SE12, good day mate. Good day Akum. Probably not going to drive for too much longer. But I don't know. I set up the Logitech G25 racing wheels, so what the heck. Oh, and the other thing that's wrong with this game is there's no track record. Like one of the major reasons why I bought this game is I wanted to make awesome movies. Hey, what have we got here? Quick. V. Okay. Where is he? Go drifting, follow me, okay. Where is you? Do I gotta... I think there's some arrows on the map that I've got to follow. Let's see if I can figure this out. Is that him? Is that him? By the way, am I communicating with a real human player, or is it like a bot? Looks like a bot username. Or system generated. It's a drifter. Whoosh. Whoa. Well, that worked out well. Man. Never going to get up this grassy hill. I think this is a four-wheel drive car as well. Where did he go? He just disappeared. Did he unspawn? Oh, well, screw. The other thing is if your car gets damaged, you can't just get a new, fresh car. You can't refresh your car. You can reset the position of your car, but you can't get those cracks off the windscreen. I mean, sometimes you kind of get the sheer joy of driving in this game, which is really good.
Forza Live will begin shortly. Good luck.
That's another terminology that's unique to this game. Forza-thon. And they've added live to the end of it. Forza-thon. I still don't completely know, after playing this game genre for like a couple of years, what exactly Forza-thon is. I think it's like some opportunity where you can... I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. What the freak is Forza-thon? Let's see if we can figure it out. And here's another problem with this damn game. It doesn't endorse track IR. You've got this kind of anemic halfway measure of a drifting camera, Why don't they just include track IR and VR for that matter? I'm assuming you can't use VR in this, right? I know for a fact that you can't use track IR because I've got track IR. I've tried to use it. Forzathon live event begins in 5 minutes. Get there now to take part 2 to set a route. All right, let's do that.
Okay, Cannonball. I've updated your route
I've
to
set
the
my
Forza
name as
Live
Cannonball,
event
so she
now.
calls me Cannonball. That broad, you can't shut her up either. Like you can't just set the system to not interrupt you when you're driving. It periodically gives you messages about like things, even if you don't want to hear about them. So this is taking place in 5 minutes time.
Forzathon Live will begin soon. Good luck.
Let's see if we can figure it out. Cool AAA, that's funny. G'day AAA. Yeah, I crashed me $500,000 Porsche. Can you give us a tow? Oh no, they're playing music, which means I'm going to get bloody demonetized and everything. No one else has showed up yet. Event begins in 3.5 minutes. Whoa. Might just sort of distance myself from the music there a bit.
Forzathon Live will begin soon.
So you see what I mean, right? There's all this kind of specific terminology in this game, like travel to the festival. Forza, how do you pronounce it? Forzathon. Forzathon.
Forzathon Live will begin shortly. Good luck.
Yay. Yay, so pumped. Are these guys real? I'm inclined to think that they're potentially bots. Hello, are you a bot? Yeah, is you a bot? Alright, so there's some potentially real players here. I don't see AR12 Gaming. AR12 Gaming is the one YouTuber I think that's the biggest with Forza. Someone rocked up in a Mustang. Someone there in a Volkswagen Golf. There's a Bugatti Veyron. There's a bloody Lambo or something. What's that other car there? Is it like a... Is that an American... Is that a TVR? Or is it an American car? I think it's a Corvette, that white car. Alex Games, that doesn't sound like an AI. It's probably a real person. What other names we got here? Knight JP Marquess. Air 1 FFTI.
Forza's online, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2,
What'd I do?
1, go!
Yay.
Round 1 started.
Get to the speed zone. Everyone's faster than me. I guess this is kind of cool. If I don't massively crash out and just get totally left behind. I think that's the... Whoa, whoa. I think that's the speed zone, isn't it? Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, that's the speed zone. So all you got to do, this thing here is the speed zone, and you got to kind of drive back and forth in it. Why exactly? I think it's like some team effort to generate XP or something. Alright, so I think it's like a team effort to drift between the two speed camera locations. Excuse me. And for doing that, the whole team generates XP. This is my guess. Group progress. It seems to have an accumulated miles per hour.
Get to round 2.
Yay, round 2. I'm pumped. Yay. Again, everyone's faster than me. Oh no. Get to round 2. WTF? What for? Oh yeah, straight in. Alright, so here's another drift zone, I think. I think this, yeah, it is a drift zone. This is round 2. You know how Tom Cruise was really cool in the 1980s? Well, I think drifting is really cool in the 2000s in the same way. Like, drifting is the flavor of the month. So I think this... I don't think Forza Fon is all about drifting, but so far at least it is. Whoa, such car. That's actually pretty funny. That's a Doge reference. I gets ya. Assuming that's not a bot coming up with those hip remarks. So this is all you do, you just do this. And I can't drift anyway, so... I mean, cars like this with all their electronic stability control, anti-lock brakes, electronic brake force distribution, etc, etc. They're not designed to drift, man. They're not designed to drift. So, like this whole drift thing, it's specific to drift cars. This car, if anything, it's designed not to drift. It's designed to not drift. It's designed to be stable on the road, and if it starts to slip, to apply selective braking to individual wheels to prevent the brakes locking and to prevent the car from losing control as per electronic stability control, which is the opposite of drift. So WTF, man. I'm driving in an undriftable car in a drift thing. But it doesn't matter, man. It's drift. It's cool. Vin Diesel would approve. I'd rather just have a decent race.
Complete. Get to round 3.
Yeah. I'd rather just have a decent race. Even just me and one other player competing over a race that goes for maybe any period of time, be it like 1 minute or be it 1 hour. Like just a properly set up race where it's user friendly enough and you can just make it happen. So anyways, guys, I was going to do Assetto Corsa, but it's only, I think that's what it is, but it's only available on console, I think on PlayStation. And the good thing about that game is that it has a track record for making cinematic movies. Alright, this is round whatever, round 3. So why doesn't Forza have a track record? Like they've given no thought into making a track record. There is a kind of a track record if you're in a race with AI players on a specific track, like on a predetermined track. But if you're just driving around like this, you can't do like what you do in IL2. You can't just start or stop track record whenever you want. So you've got like no control over it basically, and there's no track record in this format here. So no track record, no track IR, crazy startup sequence that requires mandatory participation of the player, otherwise the game won't start. Crazy user interface, which is like really confusing. And for some reason they're using all this terminology which is not intuitive and is not self-explanatory, like the term Forzathon and the term get to the festival. Like, why can't I just change my car whenever I feel like it, instead of having to go to the festival? Why the freak do I have to go to the festival? Why can't I just change my car? Why can't I keep it in spring? Why does it have to cycle through into winter? Why can't I just keep it during the day, or select the time of day and just keep it there? Why does it keep on cycling into nighttime? All of these kinds of things with this damn game. And I've got to be honest with you, for the longest time when this game had initially come out, it was not actually compatible with this wheel that I'm driving on now. Like for probably about, I don't know, it seems like about 14 months after this game came out, I couldn't use the Logitech G25 that I'd bought, albeit second hand, but I'd bought it specifically to use with this game, because it was not at all functional with the game. Like, it was, it had about, I don't know, 15 or 5 to 15% functionality with the game. Like, it was totally incompatible with the game for about a year after the game came out. And the fact that the wheel is now pretty good is as much a surprise to me as anyone. So yay, we've got a drift camera, because drifting's so cool. How about just some track IR? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to look around all of these cars with track IR, like to be able to sit in a Porsche like this and to look around the cabin? think I'm done with Forzathon. Now this is pretty good. Except for all the cracks on the windscreen that I can't get rid of. But yeah, this is pretty good. Driving here through the Scottish Highlands. This is pretty good. Well, I was in the zone for a few minutes there. Trouble with being in the zone is it's easy to zone out. This game gets a lot of things right. Obviously, I think most of them are self-explanatory. Like, it's visually stunning. The driving models are pretty awesome. The range of cars is amazing. And they're not all kind of like highfalutin cars that you'd never see. They're cars like a BMW X5 that you would drive in real life potentially. Or a Mercedes, I don't know, like a Mercedes S-Class or something. Like cars that are on the road in real life. Road registerable cars are available in this, which is great. And in my opinion, it's a pretty comparable experience. I've driven some of the high-performance cars that are in this game in real life, and then I've driven their similar variations in the game. Only difference being like a few years different between the model. Like we're talking like a like a 2003 version of the car compared to what's the car in the game? I don't know, like a 2012 version or something. So, but it's the same car. So I can kind of compare it that way. So in my opinion, the cars are really good. Like the things like the engine notes and that, very very nice in my opinion. And one of the major features of this game that's really awesome is that it's an open world map. So one thing I hate about racing games is you're on a circuit. Unless it's like the Nürburgring or something, you're on a circuit and you can find to that circuit. You're a bit like a hamster on a treadmill, just going around in circles. So this is an open world, so even if you want to leave the road, you just leave the road. It's so good. You've got this big expansive world. It's not totally limitless, like there's a fence here that you can't get through, a wall. Bam. So there are some limitations, but by and large, if you just want to drive around, you can do it, and that's really awesome. Ah, come on. So that's a good feature of the game, is that it's open world. But like lately, I've been looking at GTA. What's the latest Grand Theft Auto? Is it 5? Grand Theft Auto 5, maybe? I don't know. I've never played it, but I was looking at it, and it reminds me of the old game from, I think, 2003 called Mafia 2, where you can drive around in a city and the countryside around the city in an open world. Similar to this, but probably on steroids. So the concept of open world driving is not unique to this game or anything, but I think for a serious car racing game, kind of needs to not be confined to a track. One really good car racing game was from the early 2000s was Need for Speed Porsche Edition. And one of the awesome things about Need for Speed Porsche Edition is it was set, I believe it was set mostly, if not entirely, in France. And you could drive through like a countryside setting in France, and it was really picturesque, even with the graphics back then. And you could drive along, I think it's Côte d'Azur, the Azure coast, which is, I guess it's in southern France. And that was amazing. So that idea of like driving along a world famous picturesque kind of almost like a tourist drive, or a drive that you'd see a car race set in James Bond or something. That was a really good feature of Need for Speed Porsche Edition. You could drive along the Azure coast in France. So in addition to driving a Porsche, you got to drive it on the Azure coast, as opposed to driving it on like an abstract race course in no particular context. And don't get me wrong, I've tried other Need for Speed games, and they're not really worth mentioning, but Need for Speed Porsche Edition, where you could drive on the Azure coast and other parts of France, that was really special. This game kind of has a similar feel to it, in a way. Oh, no matter how many times I tell myself not to, I always lose it on that corner. So to me, this right here is like really good material for getting in the zone. This is like an episode of Top Gear right here. As in, this is the kind of scenery that Top Gear would do a drive in, I would say. Well guys, I'm probably going to finish this drive fairly soon. And you got to admit, this is fun. This right here, without the crashes, that is pretty fun. Oh! It's a good test of your concentration as well. When you start making errors that you wouldn't otherwise make, it usually is an indication that your concentration is going, which it does go after a while. Like, you try driving as fast as you can, but as safely as you can, for as long as you can, and you'll be able to do it for a period of time, unless you have a freak collision with a tractor or something, where you go off the road uncharacteristically. But by and large, if you're concentrating, you can drive pretty well, pretty fast, but then you reach a certain point, which I'm probably close to now, where you just kind of I don't know, you lose a lot of your effectiveness. Alright, let's see how I can go. I'm not promising any kind of performance here. I'm going to try and drive fast and safe. And I'll see how I go here. That was already a mistake. Let's keep going. Either we're getting a storm in or the map is getting darker again. I think one of the claims to fame for Forza is the rain droplets on the windscreen. And yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Max. G'day, Max. Alright guys, I'm definitely going to finish up soon. In fact, I might finish up there. Let's call it a day with the Forza. This has been a kind of an informal critique of this game. I love this game, but obviously there's some aspects of it that I wish were better. Not critiquing it to knock it down, critiquing it to build it up, which I think they call it constructive criticism. But anyways, that's where I'm coming from. This is the Froggy Frog 9000 channel. You can support my efforts on Patreon or by joining the channel on YouTube. Check out my website, it's froggyfrog9000.com. Smash the like button, subscribe, and smash the bell icon so you get notifications when I go live. I'll do more live streaming tomorrow. Hope you can join me then. Bye for now.